Okay, I am going to be calling the last 2022 City of Muskego Library Board meeting on the 20th of December 2022 to order at IF 504. Okay. Would all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Brittany, did we technically call the roll, or do you want to do it again?
Yeah, let me do it again. Thank you. Gail?
I'm here.
Nancy? Here. Phyllis? Here. Tracy? Here. Present, thank you. Alderperson Schrader? Here. Present. And excused is Carrie, Tony, Barb, and Michelle. We have a quorum of 5.
All right, outstanding. Could you comment on the statement of public notice, please?
This meeting was noticed in accordance with the open meeting law.
Okay, thank you, Brittany.
Oh.
We don't have anybody here for public comments, so I'm going to assume we can move on to the consent agenda.
You know what? Actually, Michelle just arrived, or maybe she was here a few minutes ago. Sorry, Michelle, if I missed you. I'm transferring you over to panelist. So you'll be able to talk in just a second. Dun, dun, dun. There you are. Hi, Michelle. Sorry I missed you. All right.
Okay.
Here's it.
So we discussed public comment, so
Yeah.
there is no one here, so we can move on to the next item, the consent agenda. Looking for a motion to approve the minutes of November 15th and the November 2022 financials. We have Nancy. Second, anyone?
I'll second.
Thank you, Phyllis. Okay, any discussion?
I found it. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. Is Bob Hagan a Santa Claus, a local?
No, I got a connection to him through another library.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really was startled because I just had a friend pass away with the same name.
Oh, really?
Oh, what's he doing here?
That's weird.
Very strange.
And I'm sorry for your loss.
Oh, thank you. Anybody? I have a couple. If no one else has any, I'd rather have you guys chime in first. Okay, hearing none. Just more because of their amounts and that than anything. The BSI Building Service, Inc., remaining 50%.
What packet page was that?
I'm sorry.
Wait a minute, are there no packet pages?
There are no packet pages. This is page 2
weird.
of the financial report, if that's helpful.
Yeah, that's weird. I wonder why.
Right below Bob Hagan, actually.
Okay. All right.
Because that's a lot of money for 6-foot tables. That's why I guess I was just asking what that item was.
That's three 6-foot tables and one other table. It's part of our public furniture capital project.
Oh, it's furniture.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I was looking at it as like a traditional 6-foot table going, huh?
Oh,
okay.
yeah, no. Furniture with wheels, nice industrial,
Sure.
will last us 20 years.
Say no more. EBSCO Information Services, a few down. Print 23 subscription renewal, but I don't know what that's for.
Sure, yeah. So EBSCO is the company that organizes our magazine subscriptions. And you'll notice that it says 2023. So that is actually being charged for our 2023 operating the budget, even though we have to see the invoice now so it can get processed and sent. It will not be out of this year's budget. It will be out of 2023.
Yeah, because I would assume it starts on January 1st of the new year, so you have to have everything.
And I lied. I said I didn't have anything else.
Absolutely, Nancy.
But I do. Friends of the Library book bag, $600.
Mm-hmm.
Do we always pay for their?
We coordinate the logistics of the ordering because we can get like discounts and stuff.
Okay.
But then they reimburse us.
Okay, thank you.
For cutting us a check.
Okay, thank you.
And I think you may be covering this later, and tell me if you will, the items from J.M. Brennan, it said replace valve, and I'm assuming that's a valve, but I don't know.
Actually, so yeah, the J.M. Brennan.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I thought it was like an alarm. I'm like, oh, what?
You thought you were in
The most beautiful fire alarm I've ever heard. Okay, J.M. Brennan is our HVAC contractor. VAV is a variable something.
Oh, it is.
It helps. Yeah, it helps control the heating and cooling. Alderperson Schrader knows the VAV as well, although she may not realize it. When she was in our public meeting rooms that day and it was boiling during the earlier election, it's because one of the VAVs wasn't working. So we've been trying to prioritize getting those fixed so that type of stuff
this time of year
doesn't happen.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So, anyone else have anything in the discussion phase? Okay, hearing nothing, we can go for a vote on this. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes.
Oh.
Okay. Go ahead.
I think she just said aye.
Oh, a little time delay there, right? Okay.
I had a
All right, so President's report, I have none. We usually cover anything I might be thinking of. So the Director's report, you're on, it's depending on how much you can talk.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, everyone. I just have a really bad cold, so I'm just trying to muster through. We had some really exciting programs targeting our 20 to 30 age group. That's that elusive age group that we're targeting in our strategic plan. We've done programs like the Nurse Wars, and there were a couple of others that sort of escaped my mind, but the holiday non-alcoholic cocktail program that the Friends funded, people had a really good time. They said it was really effective.
I was kind of interested in the Victorian Undertaker.
Oh,
that sounded interesting.
We had a great attendance, and that was like, there were actual coffins and huge life-size mannequins, and I just really wonder what the cleaning company thought when they came in that night, because he didn't pick it up until the next day. But yeah, it was, that type of, it's unique, right? And it's not something common that people know about, so you can see it really drew interest.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Every program in that first number one sounds fantastic to me.
Yeah, it was an effective end to the year with her programming.
Yeah.
do people tend to contact you, like say the Victorian Undertaker, and say I have this presentation, or does Bridges as a group kind of rotate people, or both, or?
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. So sometimes we have performers contact us and we go, oh, that really fits a niche or an area of interest. Sometimes we just hear about it from our state listservs or from systems. Like we'll reach out and say, hey, we really need something history-wise or something, something for adult education. Does anyone have anything? Sometimes we know experts in the area, like from a local college or whatnot, so it's a little bit of everything. Dates of note, January 17th is our next full library board meeting. January 6th is the Friends First Friday Coffee Group. They meet once a month on the first Friday. They have coffee and cookies. Members of the Friends Executive Board are there, members of the Friends membership, and I usually drop by as long as I'm available and not in meetings to give the group a library update. It's just a really nice...
what time on the 6th?
It starts at, I believe, 9:30, and it usually goes until, I think, like 11-ish. So...
But you don't have to stay that long. I
Yeah.
probably just...
Yeah, you sort of...
in and
Yeah, people come and go. Yeah, it's sort of a grazing type mentality. So
Yeah.
you're certainly welcome to stop by. It's a great way to meet some of the Friends executive board.
I know there's something going on that day, but we'll see.
I have a list of Friends updates for the end of the year. I won't read it, but it's written below. You didn't see the budget, or you didn't see the charge in this check run, but we had a huge boiler issue. Not huge. I'm being dramatic. We had the boiler break on Saturday when Santa was supposed to come. It was ironic. It was kind of like, it felt like the North Pole a little bit. We came in and it was like 59 degrees in the staff area. Right, and so I really monitored the temperature for a while to make sure it wasn't plunging below. It was holding steady, but just not anywhere where it should have been, because I really didn't want to have to call for emergency HVAC services. We were able to get them in on Monday. It was a boiler water leak, and a few other things happened. So you're going to see about a $4,000 bill come on the next paycheck, or in the next January meeting. You're going to see it. But there was a piece of furniture that I was going to buy to help with processing of RFID tags, and I saved it for the end of the year, just in case. And now I will cancel it, and that will cover that cost. So luckily, it won't impact us, in that way. But anyway,
I just want to comment on that phrase kills me every time I hear it. I had a student named Justin Case.
Oh, really? Oh, that's funny. Every time that was stuck in my brain.
Yeah, it sticks. It sticks.
Oh, let's see here. I just want to call out the positive impact story.
Can I just, very quick question?
Sure, yeah.
That boiler, are we just putting, Band-Aids on it, or, because I'm assuming it's as old as the building?
It's as old as the building. It is, it's starting to have more maintenance stuff in between the regular maintenance, but I would not say it's at the point yet where...
Because would that be a capital?
It would be,
I would think so. Okay.
I don't think we're there yet.
Okay,
so
that's good news.
A patron reserved one of our study rooms for a virtual job interview. They used our Wi-Fi. They took one of our job folders. We have job folders where we put job resources. And they came back the next day and said that they got the job. And so they were so grateful for all that stuff. And that was really exciting that they could use all those different resources at the library in order to help them with that. Oh.
Can I go back to the item above just again quickly?
Mm-hmm.
Since Bummer on the circulation desk here, are they storing it? They meaning that so we don't have any storage costs or anything like that. Okay.
Yep. And number 7, some board education. I just wanted to talk a little bit about our ebooks and e-audiobooks. Those continue to be on the rise, especially e-audiobooks, in terms of patron interest. So we have a product called Libby from a company called Overdrive, and it's a statewide resource that we pay into for access. And then we put extra funds into it so that our popular copies can get prioritized to patrons in our system. But the problem is it can have really long wait times. But that's just the way it goes. But the library system has been starting to have conversations with other library directors about how we can alleviate these hold lists. So that's an ongoing conversation. We have a second product for e-audiobooks and ebooks called Hoopla. And that is a pay-per-use platform.
We've had Hoopla before.
We have. Yep. We've had some board turnover, and I'm trying to feature a couple of resources every now and then. It's a pay-per-use model. It's increasing in popularity, especially the e-audiobooks again. It's instant access, so no wait times, which is appealing. It has a smaller collection, though, than Overdrive. So a lot of times what we tell patrons is start an Overdrive because it's unlimited, and if you see something that has like a 6-month hold time, check Hoopla. It may have it, and then you can use one of your 4 credits a month to get it instantly.
So pay per use is Using credits or
Yep.
cash?
Well, we pay per use
Okay.
for the item, whereas,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
It's a token-based system. Obviously, that means that we have to limit the amount of uses people can do. It's like $2 per use,
Okay,
and so we just have to keep an eye on it and allocate money as needed. So those are the two different models that we have for ebooks and e-audiobooks. And yeah, and like I said, we're continuing to monitor that, and patrons still love the print books as well, and so it's just about like looking at the total materials and maybe adjusting, maybe taking some from print and putting it towards electronic as the needs shift, but recognizing that print is still very popular. So
are we targeting all ages for those?
yep,
Okay.
there's children's, teens, and adults, although I will say that I think adults tend to be the primary users of both platforms. So
I had a question. How do you access Hoopla?
yeah, great question. So it is on, let me see if I can. Share screen. Okay. Hopefully everyone online can see Firefox right now. And I'm going to go to Muskego Public Library. Apologize for any delay that you see. I know that there's a bit of a lag. All right, so in the top area, there's something called e-resources.
Okay.
And then you're going to see a variety of our electronic resources. So the first one is the Wisconsin Digital Library. That is that Overdrive or Libby that I was talking about. Libby's like the app, basically. Wisconsin Digital Library is like the brand name, but the company's Overdrive. What I would love is for us to stop having 3 names for things, because I find that to be very confusing, but I cannot control that, because that's a state company, whatever. Anyway, but Libby is what our patrons tend to see and think. And so, yeah, there's lots of different options, and then you sign in using your library card. So that's the first option. The second option is there's Hoopla right here. And similar to that, you just put in your library card. You find your library, put in your library card, and then that will let you in as well.
Okay.
And I'm happy to do a more intense demo if you ever want to set up a meeting with me, and I can help you put it on your device, or I can do a more in-depth demo. Because these 2 resources are, our patrons love it. They really do. And we're seeing more and more people of all ages, want to get signed up for it. So, yeah. So I, in the interest of being brief, I'll sort of leave it at that, but happy to entertain any follow-up questions via email, or I can set up a meeting with you to help do some initial training. And of course, any staff at the reference desk can help you with these as well. So if I'm not around, or if you appreciate the charisma of a different staff member, anyone you walk up to the desk, they can help you get access to
We
the
might
device.
need that for the sweet app.
But I think it might be nice to have a little workshop for anybody interested in, just set it up ahead of time. And
Yeah, she's got to watch quorum issues and that, though.
oh, that's true,
Yeah.
yeah.
Would it be of enough interest to have an adult session on e-resources at the library?
Maybe. The one challenge, Tracy's raising her hand. Tracy, I'll get to you in a second. The one challenge is, I know they walked away from that and moved to a more one-on-one service model, because people have different devices that they want to put the apps onto, and that requires specific steps and different needs. Okay, let me get back to Zoom. Okay, where are you? Oop, no. Okay. Stop sharing screen. Okay. Tracy, where did Tracy go? Oh. Might have lost Tracy for a second. Okay, there you are. Tracy, did you have a question?
Okay, sorry, I had to switch to my phone and then I wasn't a panelist.
Oh,
this
yep.
week,
I'm
so
sorry. Well, that
I
was
just want to make sure that you.
yeah, that was effective of you. Yeah, raising your hand. So thanks. That was a good technique. Oh gosh.
All right, thank you. So sorry, guys.
No, yeah, not a problem.
No worries.
All right. So that's my report.
Okay, I just have one thing on the statistics page.
Okay.
It looks like Canopy is down. Like, say, 22 versus 21% change Canopy only, right above owning old ship.
Let's take a look.
And then it shows a down 8.4. Just curious, since we pay for that as well. So
Yeah, it looks like year to date, Canopy's currently at, as of November, 633 to, as of November, to 691 last year. But we still have December's numbers.
true.
So
true.
it may,
Yeah, it may
usually
be.
Canopy's, as you can see, averaging about 50 to 70
Uh-huh.
a month.
Uh-huh.
So it may end up
So
being
you're not
sort of-
concerned anyway.
No, and actually, because Canopy, similar to Hoopla, is also a pay-per-use model, if they don't use the token, the money
Then
that
that
we
doesn't-
put in there,
yeah.
just,
Okay.
we don't
I
pay for what we
thought
don't
you
use.
paid for that outright, that it's okay.
No,
use
yeah.
also. Okay. Okay, then.
Good question.
Where did curbside pickups go down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is fine. You know what?
Yeah.
It's really become an accessibility thing now. If someone had, busted up ankle or sleeping kids in the car, we're happy to run it out. But, it's good. It means that we're not using an aggressive amount of staff resources to do it, but it's there for people who just need a little help in that moment. So.
Makes me laugh. I find it frustrating because I say, "Oh, there's a space open."
I know. Yeah, honestly,
right up in the front there.
you bring up a good point. I've been meaning to. There's 2 curbside signs.
Uh-huh.
We used to have 4. I should just bring it down to 1. I mean,
Bring it down to 1.
based on the
Yeah.
numbers, there's no
I mean,
reason
it's
to.
no big deal. Just like I go,
No.
I should know that. Like I'm like,
No,
oh,
it makes
space,
sense
and I
though.
can't get it go in there anyway. Okay. All right. Let me get back to the. Sorry. Direct page here. One moment. Okay. Anything else for Brittany? I guess. No. Okay. Then we go down to finished business. I'm seeing none on the agenda. That means we have nothing to cover. On new business, and we're looking for a discussion on the collection development policy update. This is our first read. If you would like to explain for the board what the first read means.
Yeah. So one of our goals on our action plan this year is to keep going through the different policies. So next up is collection development policy. And I gave the background in the document, in the packet, the background on the policy update, and what's the other thing I was going to say? Being a first read, what that means is we always present and just have a discussion on the policy at one meeting, and then at the next meeting we vote to approve it at a second read. So that's why it's just a discussion and not a vote. We're not looking for a vote tonight. So it's just any questions you have, I'm happy to entertain.
Okay. So would you at all like to explain context? I don't know if everybody's, because it was pretty lengthy, so I don't know
Oh,
if
yeah.
everybody
So
got through here.
the collection development policy is designed to guide purchasing and withdrawal for the collection, fitting within the mission of the library and other ALA best practices statements. And we just did some streamlining of things. Tried to make things a little bit more like easy to understand from a layperson perspective, and outlined our request for reconsideration policy, make sure that those steps are clear. Yeah, I think that's it.
And then there are documents related to the policy.
Yeah, so the documents that are after page 4 are not part of the policy, but they are statements that the American Library Association has put out as best practices for how to ensure that public libraries have collections that, are effective for communities. And so these would not be listed or attached to the policy. They would be linked out in the policy. On page 1, you can see it says which policies we reference. So normally those pages wouldn't be there. They would just have links to them.
Okay, so obviously there's no motion in this case.
Yeah.
So we just open the floor to discussion. If anybody has any comments, questions, whatever, all we would ask is that you just say your name and, wait for the next person or whatever, so we're not all talking over one another. We don't see that happening in this particular topic. But anybody like to go first?
I guess I'll stick my neck out. I'm disappointed in the children's collection with the books about, what do we call the drag queens. But as I read through all of this, I don't have anything. I haven't got a leg to stand on because it all fits into diversity and, I just object to us having this in the library, but part of that's my age.
Yeah, it's the when we think about the collection as a public library, one of the things that we want to think about, and I think we see these in some of the ALA statements, is that the collection, an item in the collection does not mean that we, the selector, or we, the library board, necessarily endorse
condone that.
the items, because there's lots of different items in the collection. It means that there's a professional, expectation, right, for, meeting the mission of the whole person and the whole community, but, and being able to set aside, whatever personal views we have, and we all have them, right? I mean, our selectors all the time purchase things that maybe don't fit necessarily with their personal views, but it's, just a matter of making sure that the patrons and the community have the opportunity to decide what
and that's
what they
stated
need.
in here a couple of times. You have the right to not choose those books.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. What was the issue? The question?
Oh, the question was just, I'm so sorry, was about certain books that don't necessarily align with Nancy's personal values, but sort of, in reading these statements, recognizing that there's a difference between, professional expectations of having a balanced collection and personal values and personal choice. Did that sort of sum up?
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah. Anyone else?
Brittany,
Yeah.
is there any way though that there is some discretionary way of saying that this could be an adult topic in a kid's area? Because I know what book she's talking about. It's with drama queens and dressing kids up in clothes and like that. It's somewhat like a little kid shouldn't just be picking up a book and trying to figure that out. It should be something that should be discussed with the parents. I don't know.
Yeah, no, excuse me, that's a really great question. So our policies in a couple of places, our collection development policy, our library card policy, both of those, the emphasis that we make is that children should be with their adults making selections, right? And that's why our safe child policy says they have to be a certain age or older to be without an adult. And so we professionally want to avoid labeling certain books that might make it seem like it's stigmatizing any particular topic because, let's just say, for example, I'm going to use a much more general topic of, let's say, vegetarian cookbooks. Be careful, this is a vegetarian cookbook. We don't want anyone to feel like a particular topic that they may feel connected to or not connected to has to be set aside or called out. And so that's why we really encourage that patrons are browsing with their kids to make sure that they have the right selection. So it's a really good point you bring up. And hopefully the parents are doing that together. We also have our we really encourage parents to come and ask us for recommendations too, because that can really, at that age, we can say, like, what do you need? What do you want? And then we can help make those perfect matches for people. So, good question.
Anyone else? Then maybe I should ask a question for the board. I mean, do we feel like as this policy stands and as written, that we're for it? I mean, so when we go to the next meeting, are there any particular changes that you would like to discuss here? Because then those go back to Brittany for the next meeting. And then we discuss those, but we'll have on the agenda needing a motion to approve or deny this proposal. So I'd like to take
This isn't a proposal, though, Gail. This is policy.
I know, but we're only in discussion. So what I'm saying is so if we can tell Brittany what our textual opinions are and all those kinds of things, if she can bring that back.
If a customer
next
came
month.
in, Brittany, and said, I understand there are some books in here that I personally don't agree with, how would you handle that?
Yeah.
Would you show them this?
Excuse me. The very first thing that I do is, and I've trained staff on this as well, so I'm not the only one capable of having this conversation, is we start to say, like, I see this doesn't fit your needs. What can I do to get you what you need, right?
Okay.
Because a lot of times
positive.
it's, we want a positive, like, they came across something that they, don't have an interest in, so let's connect you with something that you are. If they want to have that further conversation, then we start talking about, like, the mission of the library, and, really try to, let them know about, like, that freedom to read and that this may not fit their needs, but, there are lots of topics that other people, may want to be interested in.
There's a misconception out in the public that that every book in this building is approved by you. And I've told several people that's not true. You don't see every book that comes across.
Technically, I approve all the invoices, and all the invoices have every book title on it. Now, am I actually able to scan hundreds of titles fully? No. So that's why this collection development policy, I started in a work group with the librarians. And we talked about this. We compared it to other policies in other libraries. We looked at the ALA statements because this is a policy that they have to be able to execute, as well. It's not just something that I need to come up with.
And defend.
And defend. So So usually those conversations can be productive. We have good relationships with our patrons, and so a lot of times it's, maybe they were surprised about something or just they didn't find what they were looking for, and so we just, are able to connect them with what they need. If, however, there is continued concern, then we can start talking to them about, hand them a copy of the policy. We have copies of the policy at the desk.
Okay.
and let them have a more thorough read of the policy so that they know what their options are.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Does this all come from the ALA, basically? The policy?
The basis of the policy, or the bones of it, was from the 2014 policy. But then I can't say what the previous director did, but basically I took the bones of the original policy, I held it up against these ALA statements, and then I compared it to 2 libraries from within our system, and then 2 libraries from outside of our system, just because I don't want necessarily to be trapped by groupthink within our system.
Absolutely.
And so we, as a small work group, we analyzed those policies. We pulled out pieces that we liked. We reorganized and streamlined some things from the original policy, and that's what we have before us.
Anyone else? Okay, so what I was trying to say before and probably wasn't too eloquent was, are our instructions to Brittany to put this on the agenda next month as is without any changes or anything like that, or do you have some changes, even if it's a comma in the wrong place or something like that? It doesn't have to be any major textual change. But is there anything in here that, if not, then that would be our recommendation to you, that we just put it on the agenda next month, and then vote on it on its merits then at that point. So, anyone? Okay.
I didn't think voting on this was an option.
It is. We do vote on
We'll
our
vote
policies.
We'll vote in January.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is we need to tell her now if we have any changes.
Yes, I understand.
So then when January comes up, we know what we're voting on, instead of
Okay.
sending her back to make more. I guess I'm trying to be economical on time here, so.
I really would urge everybody to read it thoroughly, though, before January.
Good statement. Yeah.
Yeah, because the ALO statements are, somebody's a good writer there, at least, I would say. They're very well written. So, okay, so hearing nothing, I guess those are the marching orders at this point. And then next month, we will.
Oh, hello, sorry.
Hi, Tracy.
That's okay, I'm just quickly reading through this stuff because I'm sorry, I did not look at this ahead of time. But there's a question where it says request for reconsideration.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an actual form that they fill out, or is this something they just write a letter?
Yeah, good question. So number 1 of that page says a patron will pick up a copy of the policy along with the request for reconsideration of library material form at the reference desk. So there is a form that we would hand them with this policy.
And then where would that?
Normally, sorry.
No,
so
go
normally we have kind of the same thing like at the hospital for our policies.
Mhm.
We include that form in the policy so that it's all in one spot if someone had to refer back to the policy.
Yeah, I've seen libraries do it both ways. I can't speak to why it wasn't in the policy previously, unless, this is just some conjecture, the goal, of course, is for people to be able to come in and, have a conversation with us. We don't want people filling out a form online, because that sometimes, without full context or without guidance, it ends up being more back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess, again, just conjecture, it's possible that the goal of keeping it not in the form, because the policy's posted online, is to avoid people like just filling it out and mailing it in, whereas then we can't have a personal conversation. So, if you want, what I can do is go back and I can do a quick like sort of audit of other libraries and see like how frequently do people have that form. I know you said that, your hospital has it attached to the policy. How often do people have that form present with the policy versus not? Do you want me to do that, Tracy? Take a peek?
Yeah, that would be good. I just,
Okay.
like, one of the policies that's just coming to mind for us, at Children's, and we have it on the website, so it's on the World Wide Web, is job shadows, so people can come to Children's and shadow, and that form, it's online, so,
Right.
and I'm the one that receives it and stuff, but I don't get inundated with a ton, like, we're talking like maybe less than 10 a year. So it's like, I don't know if that would be such a bad thing, or I don't know. I don't know if you get a lot of people coming in asking for, what are you guys calling it, a reconsideration?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's, at this time, knock on wood, it doesn't happen too frequently, or we've had productive conversations with people where it hasn't really gone too much further. I think, again, the concern that I may have is that, how do I put this? The easier you make it, people can sometimes I don't know, I have seen such value in the staff, that staff interaction at the moment when someone says, I'm concerned about. It's amazing how educational and productive that dialogue can be when we have that opportunity. And I guess I'm just a little concerned to possibly lose that opportunity. Now, of course, admittedly, you could always get the form and then say, hey, would you mind coming in? Can we have a follow-up? We could do that. So that is the only concern, I guess, that I would have is just the value of that one-on-one before it starts to develop further.
Okay, because what if it goes as far as, well, I want to be at a board meeting, I want to attend a board meeting, open session.
Yeah.
Because that could happen too, and then
Yeah, so the way the
if we're
process...
all on the same page.
Yeah, so the way the process works is that they fill out the form, and then I review it. I pull together a staff committee, we review the item, we give them an answer based on our assessment. If they don't agree with the assessment, then they can appeal it to the library board, and then it would go before the library board. So yeah, let me Tracy, let me think on that. Let me do an audit of other policies, and we can maybe chat about that a little bit more at the next meeting to sort of see what the greater value is, having it present, or that kind of thing. So I'll.
Has it ever been a
just wonder
concern
if
before?
it's something that's part of the policy that you have to include it. That's why I'm just curious.
Sure.
'Cause, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we have to make it part of the policy. I think that's up to us. But whether it's a good practice or not, let me do a little bit of additional
And
research.
has it happened before? Have you faced anything like this before?
I personally have not. Everyone knock on wood. Okay, so I'll report back at the next meeting as we're having our final discussions.
I have only really one question.
Yes.
The word reconsideration,
Mhm.
okay, so that word means the patron is reconsidering the decision that the library has made, or does the patron have to do something else and then the reconsideration is an appeal? I just want to be really clear.
The patron is requesting that the library reconsider the material.
Based on the library's decision to put it in the library.
collection.
That's
Yep,
what the reconsideration means. Okay, because you really have then the library board step here too, and I wasn't sure what the reconsideration went to.
Yep, the reconsideration is they like the library to reconsider, then I evaluate that with the staff, let them know that I've thought about it and I've either reconsidered for its inclusion or we've decided things stay as is, and then they can appeal that reconsideration
So there is
to
an
the
appeal
board.
process to the board.
Yep.
So it's not just a request for reconsideration. That's what I was trying to understand what
Well,
the real process
It is, because then
was.
they appeal to the board for reconsideration.
So you'd still use the same word.
Yep.
So you're using appeal as a verb and not a noun here, sounds like.
Let's let's see, where's the next? It
Because
says,
unfortunately,
It says-
my lawyer procedural background is coming out
I
here.
almost see it as, well, if I can't break Brittany, I'll get to the board. That's what.
which is their,
And, you know,
which is
that's
their right.
That's their
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
I'm just talking about
It
procedural
says,
terminology.
"The patron
That's all
may
that I'm splitting
appeal."
hairs here.
Yeah, number 5, the patron may appeal the
Yeah.
library director's decision.
So that's why, you know, when I first read it, I went, is this a request for consideration and appeal? Or do we just leave it all there? Again, but you're using appeal as a verb, not appeal as a noun. You know, like
Correct.
when a court
Yes.
case goes to
Correct.
on appeal,
Yep.
that's a term of art and it's a noun.
Correct.
Where in this case, we're using it as a verb.
Yep.
So
Correct.
that's okay with me. Then. I
Yep.
just wanted to make sure I understood the whole
Yeah, good question.
thing. Okay. All right. So I think you get your marching orders here.
You got your work cut out for you.
All right.
I like it.
Okay.
Great.
So moving on to the next topic, which is communications and miscellaneous businesses authorized by law. Anyone have anything?
I wish Tracy good luck. I hope you're not traveling into the Midwest on Thursday or Friday.
We were planning on coming home on Thursday,
The
and we are very scared of the situation, so we're actually moving everything up a day.
okay.
Yeah.
And we're leaving tomorrow.
Yeah, now, let's hope not everybody has the same idea as you, because then it's going to be as
Yeah.
hectic.
Yeah.
Right. Right. It's a
Enjoy the warm
fortunate-
weather while you can, though, at least.
The only other thing I have to say connected to that is I am keeping an eye on the weather. Basically, I typically don't close unless the city hall closes during the day. I certainly keep an eye on what the school district does. However, once 4:30 hits, city hall closes, the staff can go home, but my staff have to stay a certain shift for the evening. When weather gets really bad, if I'm going to do something, it may be closing early, just so that they can get home before dark. So that tends to be how I do those decision makings, and of course then we submit to the TMJ4 and Fox, the ticker, and post it in all the places we can. So just know that I'm keeping an eye on it. I know staff are starting to be, naturally concerned about that, but we'll see what happens. That's all I have. Excuse me.
Okay. All right. Anything else? So then what's left is a motion to adjourn the last meeting of 2022. Who is going to do that for us?
I move we adjourn the last meeting of 2022.
Thank you, Phyllis. And who's going to second
I
it?
will second that.
Thank you.
Tracy seconded.
Oh, Tracy.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Nancy. Heard first.
All right.
All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed and want to hang out a little longer? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned at 5:52. Made it under an hour for a change.
Happy
holidays.
Happy
Happy
holidays.
holidays, everyone.
Safe travels. Happy healing,
Yeah.
Alderperson Schrader.
What is she doing?